Oh, look at that. So I got it. Well, me and Jess, we got a new little mic setup happening here. I think it's working. There's like a little thing sitting on top of the camera telling me it's hearing me. But is that the camera's mic hearing me, or is this mic hearing me? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's this mic because I just watched it back and it sounds very clear. So pumped about that. Hopefully that will help audio quality. Well, it will definitely help audio quality. Anyway, that's my Evo. It's a 9. Very cool. There's one filter I think that I haven't done yet on the car because it's a pain. And that is this thing. Yup, filter assembly. That's the part number. It's for the fuel filter. Yeah, the fuel filter on Evos is a pain because it's not just a simple cheap filter you replace. You actually have to replace the whole assembly, which is annoying. That's why this thing's like 200 and something bucks, which is crazy to me. But dirty fuel is bad. So if we change this, we should have clean fuel. And the one that's in there has probably been in there for 18 years. And that's a very long time. So today we're changing the fuel filter in my Evo 9. It's like shorter than what I thought it would be. That's the whole damn assembly. It's nice, new and shiny. I believe the filter is actually in that part, but I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. We've got where our fuel pump sits, the feed and the return line. I assume that's what they are. Basically what we need to do, we need to pull the fuel assembly out of the car, out of the tank, and swap out all the bits onto that one. So in an Evo 9 in Australia, the pump is under there, which is the passenger side. So let's pull the seat out, there's a cover, pull that off, pull it out, we'll be on. It's also kind of spinning me out having this little thing hanging here. So hopefully it's going to be good, because if not, then I'll film all this and the audio will be atrocious. Pop that little tab there, which looks like it's already out. Got one over here somewhere. Right, pull this thing up, which I've done a million times. Something like that will do the trick. I've got this little cover thing. Goodbye. That's what we need. And I already know it is dusty as hell under here. So let's pull all these out. For some reason with this mic thing that you can't see, every time I stop a video it takes a photo. Damn, I don't know why it's got red dots on it. Seems kind of sus to me, but whatever. So there's all these little bolts we got to take out, all these little nuts, sorry. They look like they're like 8 mils or 7, 6s. Got to take off that hose, pull that plug, take off that connector. I think there's another hose there to take out. This ring will come out, and then the dusty ass filter assembly in there, we need to get out of there. I'm going to clean that up a little bit first because we don't want any dust in our fuel. I did also disconnect the battery. I don't really know if you need to, but I did anyway. Let's pull this one out. I've pulled this one before. See you later. It's nice and easy. I'm going to need some pliers for that one. Can't really see how this one works. Going to need to investigate that. This looks like there's a clip on the side there, on either side. Yeah, we've got that one. Oh, there's fuel in there. Suppose that makes sense. Don't know what that is, but obviously we've got a feed, a return, and I don't know, something else. I'm gonna get some pliers for that. This one probably works the same, yep. These were indeed at 8 mil, got them all out. This is now loose. I think it's gonna be a bit tricky to get out of here because this hole doesn't seem to be quite big enough, but we should get it. Alright, that was a bit of a pain to get off, but it's now off, so now we can try and get this thing out, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a pain. Anyway, I'm going to work that out. It's going to be too hard with one hand, but that's where we're at. Finally got that metal ring out. It was difficult. Try and tuck all these connectors underneath it before you pull it out. I kind of managed to rotate the filter a little bit to help it come out. So now that that's out, we should be able to pull this thing up out of here. I'm going to put it in a plastic bag because it's probably going to be dripping with fuel, so try not to damage it and get any dirt in the tank. So I'm going to do it with 2 hands. I will show you when it's done. There's definitely more fuel in there than I was hoping there was, and the tank's about half full, I think, so it's pretty interesting to see. So this is the comparison. That's the old one, obviously. The new one is completely white and shiny. So basically what we have to do now is swap all these bits, that bit, which there's a little strainer thing on there, which is pretty gross. I'd like to clean that somehow, but I'm not sure how it took into that. Got our 2 lines coming up here. We've got this, which I believe is our fuel measurer gauge thing. That's the float. So that's got to come off. That's got to come off. This has to come off. And I think that's, oh, and then that thing as well. Let's swap all this onto that one. So I need to sort of pay attention to how everything goes. I'll be coming back to this video undoubtedly. Here's the dent says on the outside and the long side is on the back. Pretty easy. The fuel pump itself is in there, just there, which will be, well, that's the fuel pump in there that we'll be pulling out, so that's pretty cool. And we have to swap this sealer too. I wish we had a new one, but we don't. Kind of wish they came upon, but they don't. Set that one aside for the minute. So let's start off at the bottom by pulling this bottom part off. So that looks like that just clips out of there. Same on the other side, and same over on the third one. Oh, we're leaking out the bottom of the pump. So we got this little rubber grommet thing which goes in that little groove there somehow. So looks like we're reusing this part. Next, let's pull off the fuel level. Looks like there's just 2 clips on this as well. Pop him out. Let's pull these off. Nice, like when they come off nice and easy. Now let's pull this grommet seal thing off, keep that. Now all that we've got left is the pump. So we've got this little connector thing, which the video I watched did actually take that out, but that's sucked in there actually. Oh yeah, we have to take that out. See, we've got a new one of them. The end just there is bent up. Oh, it's leaking on me again. So let's unbend that real quick. That should just pull out of there, like so. So there's a plug up here, and then that should be our fuel pump. Oh, we just had to pull in. There's quite a bit of fuel in there, so that just pulled out of its little housing. And that, my friends, is the stock fuel pump, which we're gonna, oh, it's leaking again, which we're gonna change one of these days, but for now we're gonna reuse him. That's the comparison of the two. Pretty crazy. Interestingly, this one doesn't have a part number on the top, whereas this one does. I'm gonna see if that matches the one on the box we got over there. So these actually have different part numbers for some reason. This is an MN number. Looking that up, it still says it's a fuel sender for an Evo 9. This one has an MR part number. Not sure whether, because this is for the Japanese style and this is the ADM style. Not sure what the difference there is, but they look identical, so I'm sure they're gonna be fine. Now that that one's done, let's put all this in here, but I'm gonna clean up all the dust and stuff first, because like that's kind of like a little bit gross and whatnot. All right, let's get all this back into here. So this little grommet actually didn't pull out of this one. It sits up in there. That's what the fuel pump plugs into. So let's stick that little fella up in there, and then let's just work backwards. Let's turn this guy around so it goes in the right way. Like so. Plug this guy back up in here. Put him through there. Like so. Clip that in. So this is actually, like, this must be an earth or something, and that's kind of loose right now, so we're going to just bend him back over how it was. Alright, let's put this fella back on. Dents on the outside, the long one on the back. Make sure those fellas are all the way at the top there. Probably going to hear my exerted breathing through this microphone, but anyway, hopefully it's still actually working. This thing, little fuel float, tucks in up there. Then we got to put this thing back on, and I got to check how that came out because it actually jumped out, and I'm pretty sure it's like that, but let me double check. Yep, so I had that right. That's how that sits, like that, and then that will go on to the bottom of this thing. So that's just kind of chilling in there. And all we have to do now is put this O-ring back on, which goes like so. And we are back together, my friends. There it is, our new complete fuel filter assembly. That's the old one, that's the new one. That's pretty crazy. Different part number, like I said, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. Go on, stick it in the damn car, and hopefully it starts. Alright, I'm going to stick that down in the hole, and then I'm going to put this mad ring on top of it, Again, it's going to be a two-hand job, so I'm not going to be able to film it. Unfortunately, I need to get a head mount for my GoPro, but I don't have one. All right, we got it back in pretty much. I found the best thing with the ring was to slide it in that way and then over. You have to get it over both that and that. So in, over, down, kind of wiggle the assembly, wiggle that, it'll get on. This plate actually has to go a certain way. There's a little groove in it that's up there, I think. Otherwise the bolts won't line up. You have to line up with these little things. That's in. I'm going to put all the nuts back in, plug it all in, hope it works and doesn't blow up because we have no fuel. All right, it is all back in and finished up. Definitely put that hose and even potentially that hose on before you put the nuts on, otherwise you'll be like me. I had them all finger tight, went to put that on, can't do it. You've actually got to maneuver the assembly a little bit to get that one on, but that's all sorted now. Let's put the cover back on and see if it starts. I'm actually going to see if it starts first before I put the cover back on, just in case there's an issue. Moment of truth. Oh. Took a little bit to get there, but there's fuel in there and she's good to go. I'm hoping the audio in this video isn't completely whack because of this thing, but I'm hoping big improvement. Well, it works. That's insane. I'm gonna stick the cover back on that, put the seat back down, and that'll be the end of that. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done it, do it. I'll link the part below from SSM Performance where I got mine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go watch that video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.